Welcome back, folks, to the coverage of Stitch and I. And again, oh damn it, because at first I was like, oh well, I'm gonna have to change the what I put on here because the thumbnail says Stitch ain't loyal. But the worst part about it is that the next three episodes, which now makes a season, Stitch ain't loyal. It's like, oh my gosh, we're back to Stitch ain't loyal. It's like, oh, Stitch forgot, and well, Stitch ain't loyal. Okay, let's get started with the little bit of points I have. So in episode 11, we have Stitch actually showing that he has behavior slash anger issues yet again. And it does make sense because, well, if his memory is getting wiped clean, that means that he only has a little bit to remember. And then eventually everything will drop, meaning all the things of like, in the first movie of Lilo and Stitch, we already knew that he had anger issues and behavioral problems, and it was up to Lilo to actually get him domesticated, and she did. But since the memories, in quotations, the memories are gone, then that means there's no real telling of why exactly is he still behaving the way he is if he doesn't remember a single thing, only just bits and pieces. So we actually get Bubbles, which Bubbles, my gosh, we haven't seen Bubbles in since episode 1 or 3. We finally get Bubbles, and he turns out he's with the Alliance, or those space guys, the lady. So they're actually in cahoots with each other, and he's actually keeping tabs. And because of this episode, he actually says, "Okay, we might need some forces here," because Stitch decided to be a bit of a jerk and created more monsters. First time ever we get to see Stitch actually create monsters of his own. It's weird that we don't even get to see them in the next two episodes. I mean, that episode, 2 episodes later, we don't even see them in the finale, the season finale. I call it the season finale. Anyways, yeah, so we have a neuro opera. So we get to see opera, we get to see how it is, but I don't really need to understand because I already figured what a Chinese opera is like. It's basically already figured out in high school that they tell you about it. So it's not really any need. But it's a nice refresher. So yeah, drums and everything, which yeah, that's about all that you really need to know. And then we get to episode 12, which it turns out that maybe he has behavioral problems or frustrations because he can't find the damn temple he's looking for. So we get this interesting plot of where Plinkley somehow gets to have a device, a alien device sent to him. No idea of who sent it, but he got it. Kind of like when it comes to those who are on YouTube. It's like awesome for those out there on YouTube who was able to actually get stuff and don't even have to say a single thing because, well, they get stuff, they get endorsements and crap. But anyways, yeah, so Plinkley get that for the first time ever. And it looks like there's an app on it that actually says you can make your own brother. So we finally have for the first time Stitch have an actual DNA brother. For so many times, for all the 600, actually it's 626. I would like to say 625, but Leroy was created and he got a movie. So it's like, no, 626 experiments. He technically called them all cousins. This time around, he actually gets to have a brother of his own, and Aya does too. So here's the interesting part, is the fact of in China, they actually have their own way of jump rope, but I wouldn't say it really is jump rope. It's jump rope mixed with skip it, and what you need is a bungee cord and at least 2 people to do it. Kind of like jump rope. It's like, yeah, you need at least 3 people to do it, or sadly, if you're one of the ones who actually is all alone, you could actually do it by yourself and tie it to something else and then jump rope. So I bet chances are there's some way to do it like that. It's sad to have no siblings. Anyways, so yeah, and it kind of reminds me of Skip It. Yeah, I know, it's just showing my age, but in the 90s, you used to have something that you're able to put around your freaking ankle and spin around. It's kind of like a yo-yo. And it just goes around and around. You have to make sure you skip it. You have to make sure you dodge it or you stop it. I think they did try to make it in the early 2000s. I think they tried to release it again, but it wasn't successful. Technically, Skip It was successful, period. So Anyways, the aliens are back. The Djiboutis are back. For those who are like, what? I didn't mention this, the fact that there's two aliens fighting over Stitch, and eventually in episode 8, 9, or 10, Stitch decided to deal with them the way he did, which is he basically double crossed them both and they both fired at each other, which made them both actually lose. So you would figure that they actually had defeated, but no, they're not defeated. It turns out one of them's now on top, and they decided to make this crazy program, which they basically decided to get Stitch to relearn from his brother, which his ordained name now is Scratch. So Scratch and Stitch, funny, right? So they decided to actually get him to reboot and relearn exactly what he's supposed to be doing. And well, luckily, they rebooted the system. Stitch has Metamorphosis program activated. And one thing you need to know is that if he gets his system rebooted, in quotation system, he will forget everything about his former identity. There we go. So last but not least is episode 13, which actually get to see exactly his monstrous form, which at first I was like, oh, they didn't go with the ridiculousness. And then no, they did. They gave him blasters. Now he looks like King Kong mixed with Dr. Octopus with blasters on those freaking things. It's like, my gosh, dude, really? It's like, yep. Yeah, they actually went hardcore on that. I was kind of hoping that was just nothing but, them being like, oh, it's very horrible. And it turns out that no, he's like King Kong. So basically, he started his rampage on little model buildings. Then after that, he went to a construction site. Then he went to a construction site that's supposed to be the newest city being built. Luckily, there's not a lot of damage happens. And of course, because of the power shriek that I has, because she demonstrated the last episode 12, that she's able to scream and get Stitch to focus himself, to actually be aware. So at first he was about to destroy crap, and then luckily she was able to snap him out of it. The Djiboutis came down and be like, all right, we're going to conquer Earth, or conquer this city, and then the planet. And then, well, Stitch backfired. Yeah, Stitch basically betrayed them and destroyed crap. And of course, well, Jamba came and released all the mythical beasts, because why not? Not to mention that this episode was mixed with lots of freaking showcase stuff of, remember what happened in a few episodes ago? It's like, yeah, let's show you that. Kind of like, showcasing. So there you go with all that. That's basically all that happened there. And, well, he was able to shrink down to his normal state. He went and destroyed all their forces. They retreated, and that is how it ended. But of course, that's not all. The reason why I say Stitch ain't loyal is because the fact of he said, I finally found my family. Number one. Number two, the jogging of memory is jogging of memory with I. He didn't even try to even remember even further with Lilo. It's kind of like, wow. It's like, it's heartbreaking in two ways. One, it's heartbreaking that if he did Lilo, then that means all I is basically chopped liver. And vice versa, where it's like, Lilo is the reason why you're good, and you're telling me you forgot everything, and you're not going to even try to remember at all who she is, which is like, my gosh. I really hope that in the end it turns out that Lilo is actually a teenager or adult, and he's been away from Earth some kind of years already. But on the other hand, that means that Bubbles should actually show his age, but he doesn't. He hasn't aged whatsoever. So, I don't know. In the end, this series actually is pretty good. And for those who actually had the same question as me, is why did it get translated to English dub? Oh, it's because it was for the southeast part of Asia. Why? It's like, no offense, but why? It's not like everyone. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of hard, especially when it comes to like, oh, well, in America, though, it makes sense that you have to translate it to Spanish, too, for everyone down here in Florida, along with some in Texas, some in Phoenix, and etc., etc. That makes perfect sense, but for Southeast Asia, someone's going to have to explain to me what happened there. Anyways, there you go. That is the full coverage. As I can see, there's a few other things to need to talk about. Like, for instance, it's not for right now, it's not going to get a Western release. And personally, I would say don't do it. Allow it to be sorry. Allow it to be China only. Chinese eyes only. And of course, if you stumble upon it like I do, then you allow them to get the heartbreak. As for everyone else who loves Lilo and Stitch, that's gonna break some damn hearts. Truthfully, it's gonna break some damn hearts. My heart isn't broken because I don't really care that much, but on the other hand, I'm kind of like gotta make sure the continuity is airtight. Oh yeah, last but not least, I's brother. Well, it turns out he was an alien. Turns out he was an alien in disguise. So there you go. So for anyone to actually, but there was good times with it. They had good times. Anyways, thank you for watching, folks, and I think this might be it. Unless they go with season 2, which season 2 might come next year. It's like, yes, season 2 might come next year. Yeah, thanks, Disney.